Good day, guys. Okay, so ETH breaking out, moving nicely. So there's a few key things that we're going to look at. There's some guys that say that there is an Ethereum triangle pattern forming. There's guys that saying there's a lateral range forming. So there's many ways to look at Ethereum. And then there's even the crazies like myself saying, okay, it's all good and dandy. ETH is moving so fast. But what about the imminent hidden bearish divergence? Okay, that could play out. So we're going to look at all these things. And in addition to this, I'm also going to share significant. I'm going to show you how to get the significant support and resistance levels so that you can look at how you can get in on the ETH move as well. Because if you missed the bus, I think a lot of guys did miss the bus. I did share that a while ago. Get your asses in. But if you missed the bus, how to get in and to get in responsibly. We have this typical saying that we don't buy breakouts because you're late and that kind of stuff, but it's wrong. Buy breakouts, buy moves like this because the momentum is clearly there. You just need to know how to action that. So no financial advice as always, guys. I'm just a trader. I'm just measuring the risk, showing you how to weigh up the risk to reward. And look at it from a statistical point of view that if enough of these occurrences happen and you do enough trades, you should be in profit. Like we said, no guarantees. Okay, so good morning, guys. Let's see. We've got Liesel, Renee, Trader T. Hello, nice to have you here. All the other regulars. And as the people are jumping on the stream, I think all eyes on ETH. So let's just quickly steal a little bit of Ethereum's thunder. Just slightly before we're going to look at the dominance and everything else. Let's just steal a little bit of thunder and let's just have a look at what Bitcoin has got in store for us. So I'm just going to quickly load my BTC chart. If TradingView will allow me. I've got too many tabs open, guys. Too many tabs. It's a problem. Okay. So I pointed out to you guys a while ago that just like this area here, tops look bullish. They will always look bullish, guys. Just like bottoms will always look bearish. It will always look like there's more. So the trader in us, and we need to be neutral and we need to look at support and resistance levels because things that go up keep unlocking higher levels. Things that go down don't, So when we have strong bearish divergence like we had way back there, when you have it, it's not necessarily game over. We've had strong bearish divergence there, back in the day. And we've had strong bearish divergence there. So it's not a bad thing necessarily. Just one critical support level that needs to hold. So you use the RSI and you mark up the candle close on the RSI. As long as price stays above that pivotal support, you're good. Any retraces are seen as buy the dip scenarios. And subsequently, that's how this Ethereum was. There was strong bearish divergence. There's the RSI pivot. So that's buy the dip. You play in favor of the momentum always. Back to Bitcoin. Wrong one. Okay. So this is still something then. So if we zoom in on this, it's still something we just need to keep in the back of our head. All of this, although it's very bullish at the moment, is still fair play for the right area to short on the weekly time frame. Just like I would take a 5-minute trade or a 15-minute trade. Now I'm betting that it fails. Now what is needed for it to fail? Well, we can use a previous time when it did fail. That's the simplest way. You look at, I'm going to apply my strat 1 where I try and time where the top will be. And as soon as we cross the red line, it's a failure. Okay. So then you dream big. We did it the same here. So I'm going to take top to bottom. As soon as you cross the red line, it's a failure. You think that you dream big. There's going to be more. And that red line is still living there with a strong bearish divergence. So all of this still will have a little bit of selling pressure and it will look extremely bullish. So we can capitalize on that. It's just something to note. Now, why I'm pointing this out and I'm bearish on Bitcoin in this regard, or selling you bearish FUD or whatever you want to call it, raining on your parade. I think that's the better word. Scratch the FUD. That's the bit. Raining on your bullish parade. Okay. It's simple. When we want to see an alt season, and historically the way alt seasons used to work is you'll have Bitcoin taking everybody's thunder. Then the era of Ethereum starts. And typically when that happens, money flows into Ethereum, but it struggles, but it outperforms BTC, and Bitcoin starts losing momentum. Okay. Now, with a chart like this, let's go back to the weekly bit. If Bitcoin starts hovering around here, while ETH is doing crazy stuff like this, this is the beginning and the dawn of a potential alt season for us. And what else do we have to kind of support that as well? You can clearly see that money is no longer favoring Bitcoin, but the risk on guys, the guys that really want to put their money where their mouths are, aren't looking at Bitcoin now. They're looking at altcoins. That's the fact that the dominance has now retraced 3%. Okay. And that's a lot of money considering the market cap size. Now, what else do we have on this chart that could be interesting for us? So let's quickly switch to back to a line tool on the dominance. And I'm going to bring back the dominance. We had on the weekly time frame strong bearish divergence. On the weekly time frame, strong bearish divergence between these two pivots. And that was the support that needed to hold for Bitcoin to remain king. We had the same on the daily time frame. There it is marked out on the screen. And that was the support. So between 65.3 and 64.7 was the area that if we were going to see more Bitcoin momentum, that is potentially where the market will have its moment, where it'll have its bounce. And we hovered around that area for probably few days. It was a long time that we sat there, and now it's selling off. So we're reaching a point now where if we want to turn the dominance bearish and take one step closer to saying, okay, maybe there's going to be an alt season, what needs to happen now is we need a lower low on the dominance. We don't have a lower low yet. And the reason you want a lower low is because your RSI will always overshoot because there's a fast move. So the RSI is going to overshoot, which means that at this stage, we still have hidden bullish divergence. And hidden bullish divergence is a continuation divergence. Okay, let me just take I'll just leave the line like that. And it's a continuation divergence. So if you study the divergence chart, simple. Continuation of trend. This shows when a trend could reverse, but you want the hidden bullish or bearish divergence to get deleted to say that the trend is now in the opposite direction. So to move this then back to this chart, in order for us to say that this dominance, which has been trending bullish in Bitcoin's favor since forever, in order for that to now become bearish, we need to first make a lower low and then have next time round hidden bearish divergence. And at that stage, alt season will start kicking off, hopefully, because then this establishes a trend. Now, pattern traders would typically refer to this as well. Maybe it looks like a head and shoulders then, this being the head of the shoulder, the head, and this being the other shoulder. However that works. That's typically how these things, why they all fit into the same idea. Head and shoulders is a reversal pattern. It is a conclusion of this strong bearish divergence, lower low, lower high, but a higher high in the RSI. Now we have a trend moving down. And the last time we had a fast move, it did look really good. But by the time that we got to support levels, there was no divergence, no nothing. So we bounced on support and we made a higher high in the RSI. And, the rest is history. We know where we are. The alt just kept on bleeding. And that was a horrible time to be. Okay, so back to Ethereum now. So there's a lot that's running in favor for Ethereum to keep on moving. Now, we do have those acts that's being, or I think it's the Genius Act at this moment, that is almost put into effect. It's not there just yet. I haven't seen any concrete evidence. But what it means is it's going to bring in a lot of regulatory framework, and it's going to open crypto to the whole US economy. And that means that from the simplest terms, up till now, if you're in crypto, you're early. But once this act passes, then it's no longer early, because then you're late. You're the last guys coming in onto the party. They were denied, but now they're late. So there will be another run on the market, and we could see greater highs. But for now, let's just be realistic to what the gains would be. So what would be bad for Ethereum where we are right now? So let's bring in the RSI. Okay, we do have strong bearish divergence. So if you still want to be bearish on Ethereum, you have all the right to be. But yet again, support lives at 3 grand. Okay. So as long as we stay above that level, this still remains by the dip territory. So any retraces whatsoever could still be considered a big move. Now, if we do have, and you can zoom in and say, okay, well, yes, there, look there, there's strong bearish divergence. Yes, again, you're right again. But the same rule applies. If this current breakout wants to hold, we need to just stay above 3,350, thereabout. And the market could do and make it look like just like it did there. It could hover around that range. It won't respect the line to the cent, but will hover around that range. And what happens to the RSI? It goes and makes a lower low while it hovers around the range. So you're going to look for an RSI doing this while price does not make a lower low. And that's where these supply and demand rays come in. So you can use that as a guide to kind of see, okay, right, we can chop around, but as soon as we chop around, but the chop starts looking like this, it's bad. Then we can expect a deeper retrace. But until then, your eyes need to be to the moon. Okay, that's it. So makes sense. Let me know, guys. Good morning, Louis. Good morning, Yuto. Chris, good morning. Nice for you guys joining in. About 150 people joining in live today. If you want to support the content, you're more than welcome to do so. Open your account using my partner link, Blowfin link in the bottom of the video description. And I will give you the buddy indicator. Now, how does the buddy indicator work? So simple. It takes all these strategies that I have, that I try and teach on the stream with you guys, okay, and it inputs them in an indicator. So, and it gives you these little labels. So if you go into the Discord and you actually go and read up, so go to how to use tools, click on that, and you go and read up on the buddy indicator, the tutorial that I did there. You will find that all these strategies in the indicator, they're all of them. Okay, strat 1 looks for strong bearish divergence or strong bullish divergence. Strat 2 looks for demand zone tests, typically hidden, bearish or bullish divergence. Strat 3 looks for breakouts. And then strat 4 looks for continuation of trends. Yet again, hidden bearish divergence, but wave on wave. Okay. So now if you understand this, then if you look at what we have now, you can see that there was a strat 2 demand zone test. Price went in there beautifully for Ethereum. And just to filter this, I made it so that you can say, well, let's just have a look at the strat 2s now. So then it takes away all the noise, and then it tells you, well, there at the close of that candle, it printed the buy zone with the invalidation, TP1, and it's on its way to TP2. Okay. Now, the same will be true for a demand zone test. So let's have a look at a hidden bearish divergence, hidden bullish divergence, strat 4. Now, sometimes, and this is why there's an indicator, and it works. So there it picked up, says, listen, there's hidden bullish divergence. Try and look to get in on the move for continuation. And it failed, but then it created the demand below. So it was just hunting for liquidity. And that's why I point this out, is that with anything out there, there is a margin of error. There's no guaranteed sure thing. And the indicator functions around a 65% success ratio. So if your risk to reward ratio is 1-to-1, you would still be in the money, because 65% of the time you'll be making more than you lose. If your risk to reward ratio is much higher, which these are, they're about 7-to-1, it's very simple. You risk very little, you make a lot. So you can afford to lose the next 7 or 8 times if the probabilities turns against you, which it can. Okay. So this indicator is completely free. It gives you all the information that you'd want. It also overrides the candle colors. So the simplest tool for everybody, say you're new to trading, what do? Well, when we're in a lateral range, It can sometimes be frustrating because you'll see that what happens here is the candles gets overridden, orange, orange, orange. And then as soon as we range bound, it will turn blue and orange and then blue again at this stage. But if you stick with the system and say, okay, right, when it's orange, I trade bearish, which you should. There's the hidden bearish divergence, hidden bearish divergence. And when it's blue, I trade bullish setups. And I try and stay in my move for as long as they're still blue or it stays within that trend. You'll find that you'll be in moves for way longer than you would typically need or do, because now you have something that has 64 processes running in the background, looking at 64 other things to try and ascertain whether it's still bullish or bearish. Okay. And then, yes, there will be times where it turns bearish like this, and then it will say, well, I was wrong. It's bullish again, and it will reprint that. Okay, and then the last thing, the last reason why you need to get your is the breakout strategy, which I think I really like the most, especially because we're trending at the moment. Simple. When there's a breakout, there's a certain set of things that needs to happen. It scans for that. It tells you breakout. Okay, gives you your entry zone, TP1. So this one's already hit TP1, so that's 1-to-1. And now you're waiting for TP2, TP3. And if you go back to all the other moves, there was a breakout candle there as well. You can see that. Entry, TP1, TP2, TP3. It's as simple as that. So it really makes life easier for you on guessing what's going to happen next. Now, this is Ethereum. You maybe have AVAX. I don't know what you have. Maybe you've got a specific coin that you want to look at. Okay. And now it works. So you literally go click on that coin. You've got the trade buddy with you. And it looks for the market in a similar way. It colors it in for when it's bullish. It tells you when it's bearish, and notifies you what kind of setup you need to look for. Okay, so simple tool, easy to use, and something that can support you during your trading journey. Because for me personally, the hardest time was to know what setup, when to look for this bearish divergence and when not to. Okay. And then in addition to this, what I did create for everybody that does have access to the indicator, as soon as you do, you'll have access to this channel, is the trade guide. So I'm just going to close the investment section. I'm going to go open the trade guide. There it is. And this is a step-by-step tool that you can use in the Discord to look at what are we? Are we in a bull, bear, or lateral range? We're in the bull market at the moment. Then it's saying, how is everybody feeling? Are they greedy? Are they fearful? Are they complacent? Meaning we could be bullish but grinding sideways at the top. You know, that kind of thing. And if you want to know more what I mean by this term, there's also a learn more. So you can choose that. So at this stage, people are fearful. Fearful they're missing out, or are they greedy and just FOMOing in because there's going to be so much more? And there is distinct differences between those two emotions. So let's say they are fearful, then it tells you, look for these specific setups. They will do better. Okay, so there's a lot that you can use doing that. Okay, there you have it. Thanks, guys, so much. So at the moment, with Ethereum being where it's at, let's close off the idea for today. So with Ethereum being where it's at, it's very simple. You want to buy the dip. Critical support's 3,300. Once we leave that, then you want to look for the RSI to go below this point. And at that stage, the buddy indicator will start throwing you HO4s or SO4s, Strat 4s, which is hidden bullish divergence, and look for confluence around these lines. At some stage, at one of these areas, we will typically bounce because price is not allowed to make a lower low. Simple as that. Okay, there you have it. That's basically everything for today, guys. So it's going to be a short stream today because all eyes are on ETH. Now, just as a quick update in the discussion section in the Discord, the community discussion, we've been looking at AVAX. I've been looking at MOG. We've been looking at AERO and so forth. And those coins have been doing really well. So let's quickly have a look at AERO. So AERO from the buy zone that I shared with you guys, up 30%. The strategy is very simple, guys. If we zoom out, remember this. Once we hit $1.50, $1.40 from that 70 cents, that's 100%. You sell half and let the rest ride. Okay. X marks the spot. You sell half, let the rest ride. because then it opens you up for potential investment in some new coin. And if it doesn't, then the coin that you have, if you think it's a shit coin and it's just a get out and sell everything. Okay. Not everything has to be a lifelong investment. Sometimes you just want to make money. And with the fact that we don't have a confirmed alt season just yet, we're just hoping that it's there. These are things that you need to just keep in the back of your head. You know, we could see Ethereum fall below 2.9 and start turning bearish. And if you didn't sell half, you know, you would be kicking yourself, because then the whole thing is going to turn bearish. Okay, so keep that in the back of your head, guys. Okay, now AVAX. I'm still holding AVAX. The reason being, let's quickly load AVAX. Where did I chart AVAX there? Let's get AVAX on the list. I'm still holding AVAX. Now, the AVAX setup that I shared with you guys, I did chart it on a different tab, but I can quickly go to the Discord and we can pull it up for you. It was this one. No, that's Celestia. Come on, I'm not going to find it now because I'm looking for it. Okay, but let's have a look at this. This is a different screen. Maybe I just need to move to this one then and click on AVAX there. I think that would be the right version. Oh, there we go. There, see. Buy the dip zone, $20. Get your ass in. That was the argument for AVAX. It's sitting around $22. I've got my positions open. They're looking nice at the moment. And the play for AVAX is exactly the same. Although this was a 4-hour structure, if you start looking at AVAX, big picture, there's the sea of liquidations that's currently sitting in here, all those supply zones. And as soon as price starts moving in here, it's going to do exactly like Ethereum did. Okay, let's just move that out of the way. It's going to do exactly like Ethereum did. And the argument is I want to try and get there. Now, the reason I'm trading AVAX and not necessarily hodling it on spot is because I can't double my money to the next critical resistance range, 20 to 30. There's no double your money, sell half. So I'm just trading this just to make some money. AVAX is undervalued. It really does look well, and it's printing picture perfect or pixel perfect, everything that I want to see at this stage to remain in that one. Okay, so I'm happy with this one, and I'm going to keep running that one to see if I can get to 35. Break through that, hey, then it turns nicely. I mean, I still have, you always have to have that sneaky door open. You know, you have to have skin in the game. I still have from our Cardano way back, longs from 35 cents. You know, at this stage, I was happy. All of this has just been fees. But look at where it's at now, where maybe we're going to bounce at 60 and then go make a higher high. You know, it's keep the door open with some of these things. Okay. Let's see what Chris says. His AVAX is 20% in profit, hitting resistance. What would be a price to get back? Well, for me, there's no resistance, my friend. AVAX is just ready to go. So I'm looking at it from maybe a different time frame than you had. This is 4-hour to daily, weekly time frames. So for me, I still think that there's a lot of squeeze to be had. A coin that I shared with you guys that I'm waiting to get in on, NEWT. It's looking better every day. So have a look at that one. And then Hype is yet again, it's throwing you the strong bearish divergences. But as long as we stay above the pivot, it's by the dip zone. So Hype at 40 cents is maybe a buy. And if you look at the list, look at where it's at. It's really performing really well. Kicking my ass on PENGU, but remember, I'm not here for meme coins, guys. I'm looking for a little bit more. DeFi, I want to understand what I have. I don't really understand the generalized community driven behind a funny joke. For me, that's not long-term investment. That's attention coins. If everybody gets sick and tired of the penguin or the penguin picture, it's going to be like the Bored Apes. It's just going to die off again. So you ride them, make profit, and leave. That's my opinion. But maybe yours differ. Let me know. What was it? Shiba Inu turned into a DeFi protocol. Maybe something like this can happen. Okay. AERO, you can see where AERO is on the top 100 list, outperforming BTC. Bitcoin Cash, I mean, I gave you guys great entries there. Sui is doing well. Tao is not that bad either. So there's a lot of coins that I think has got really good potential. And start with these coins first if you want to get in. Don't go buy the obscure one that's out, because alt season functions in a similar way. These other coins, they're going to move later. First this, then this. then that, then the little ones. So let them lie, leave them alone. Don't try and get in on the little ones just yet. Their time will come. Okay. That's everything for today, guys. Thanks so much for taking the time. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share the video with a friend, come and join the Discord, get your Blowfin account. Okay, get the buddy indicator. You click on get partner roles, and there you claim it. Very simple. And click on that little button, follow the instructions in there, and claim your access. As simple as that. I would love to have you guys in the Discord with me. And yeah, that's it. Thanks so much. Have a lovely day, guys. To each and everyone joining live, I really appreciate you. Cheers.